is people that move to different countries that expect it to be like the country they came from.
Yes.
I tried looking for the rest of that first clip, but I could not find it. But then again, I don't think we need to listen to all that he had to say to know what he was talking about, or rather complaining about, because he had boldly written on the screen, or rather his video, that the UK has become diluted by other countries' beliefs and lifestyles, trying to change a country's culture and style. These people complaining about immigration and how now their cultures are dying because too many other cultures are coming into their countries would never stop being funny to me. Talk about not having any single touch with reality, acting as if they are not the first illegal immigrants this world has ever seen, who left their continent, traveled across the globe to go invade people's lands, acting as if they did not single-handedly during their invasions of people's lands dilute, hell, in some cases even erased and demonized people's ancestral cultures, beliefs, and lifestyles. No, as an African, I'm not sorry. And no, I don't feel bad for you, because I have to deal with daily the fact that our cultures, hell, some of them are like long dead, no thanks to colonization, no thanks to your ancestors. And right now, we are struggling hard to hold on to what's left of our cultures these days, because hell, it's still dying, because the foundation for the death of our culture was set like 400, 500 years ago when your ancestors invaded our lands. They set the tone for the killing of our cultures.
Yes. And if you want an example of people leaving their home country, going somewhere else and expecting it to be catered to them, you only have to look at the British or Western people in general. Take Thailand, for example, where I'm sitting right now, a country where everyday Thai people have to learn English in order to do well in business. If you open a restaurant in the UK, how many foreign languages do you need to learn? Not a single one. And I see so many people complaining in the UK when areas are apparently overrun by hordes of foreigners, and suddenly signs have English written on them, but also maybe Arabic or some other foreign language written underneath, and they are disgusted by this concept. Walk around in Thailand and tell me how many signs you see written in English. More signs than you will see written in Thai. And of course, I understand with Thailand, we're mostly talking about tourism. With the UK, we're mostly talking about immigration. And tourism is very, very important to Thailand. It brings a lot of money into the country, just like immigration does in the UK. Immigration in the UK is a net positive thing. It is actually strengthening the economy. It is not negative in any way whatsoever financially for the country. But whilst we're on the subject of immigration, let's not forget about all the British and various other Western people who are living in countries like Thailand illegally.
And they are in Africa too. Only in South Africa, there are about 2 million illegal European immigrants in that country. I made a video on this, by the way, link down below in the description. They are everywhere, but they be the loudest complaining about illegal immigrants though. Go back to Africa, but they are in Africa though. Go back to where you came from, but they are in where you came from though. And guess what? Nobody's complaining. The double standards, really. Like, can we talk about it?
People that are exploiting tourism visas, education visas to stay here for as long as possible, and hopping in and out of the country, getting extensions on their visas, doing whatever they can to stay here, and meanwhile conducting work that they are not allowed to do according to their visa. This country is full of British, Western, illegal immigrants. And I can honestly say, I have lived in the UK for the vast majority of my life. I'm nearly 40 years old. The UK today is still British. You are not having your British culture stripped away from you. Far from it. If you want to be British in Britain, you can still do that. If you want to see cultures being stripped away, come over to Asia, come over to parts of the world where there's such a huge surge of Western tourism, of Western immigration, people retiring out here that expect things to be as they are back home. This is where you see cultures being stripped away, where you see cultures not being respected. You know, people walking down the streets in Southeast Asia in bikinis with their shirts off, having absolutely no respect whatsoever for the culture that they should be integrating into. Most importantly, people that are coming here and bringing their baggage with them from their own countries.
I'm African, but the official language in my country, Nigeria, is bloody English, man. I was taught in English, I think in English, all the signs we have in my country is written in English. In a country where we have over 300 and something ethnic languages, our official language is English. And it's the same thing across Africa. It's either your official language is English or it's French or it's Portuguese. But there are talks about changing this though, talks about making Swahili the official language of the continent. Like, I cannot wait for this to happen. Like, it's about time our languages get pedestalized. I am so tired of our indigenous languages getting put on the back burner, because that's also one reason why in our modern time our languages are dying, because daily we are having less and less reasons to speak them. But if we change that and make our indigenous languages our official languages, we can save our languages. And it's not only language, how we dress, our style of dressing too has been affected. Yes, we still have our cultural clothings, but what's considered like official clothing is like English clothing. And what this now means for our traditional clothing is that now they get relegated to the back. So now as an African, for you to show up in the world as an African in your African attire, you have to wait for special occasions. Somebody have to get married first before you can wear your traditional attires. Or if you are still religious and you still go to church, you have to be going to church before you can wear your cultural attires. And hell, even when you are going to church, you can't even wear all your cultural attires, because some of your cultural attires, it's sinful. God is not going to like it, basically, because some of our cultural attires don't fit the standard for what modesty is according to these gods that the colonizers brought. So even in church, in the presence of your, in quotes, creator, you can't even be your authentic self. So in church, you wear the edited version of cultural attires, right? And now that we're on the topic of religion, this is still another point of something that was stripped away from us, our ancestral ways of worship. How we worship today, no thanks to the colonizers, is another form of culture erasure, because this wasn't how we used to always worship. They were the ones who decided on this. They were the ones who forced this form of worship down the throats of Africans. And how we used to always worship is like lost at this point. Only like 0.9% of our population, African population, still worship in their ancestral ways. So because of this, our cultural ways of worship is almost dead at this point. And while yes, a whole lot of Africans are starting to go back to their ancestral ways, because like a lot of the knowledge is lost because not many people practice it. Now, people who want to go back don't even know what to do. They are lost, right? Where would they even start from? They don't know. How we eat culturally too is changing. While yes, we still have our cultural meals, but these days people be telling you about some, in the morning, you cannot be eating rice or swallowing eba because it's too heavy. For breakfast, you're supposed to be having like a cup of tea with 2 to 3 slices of bread and scrambled eggs, or maybe a bowl of cereal. First of all, I'm too African for that. I need to start my day with better eba with ogbono soup or rice and stew. Something filling, because where will I now have the energy for the rest of my day if I'm having a bowl of cereal? Please, cereal is a snack. When I cereal, I mean a cereal. You guys know what I mean. That's a snack. Something you eat in between the day. Like, you understand, when you are feeling peckish, you just want to choose something, you go for cereal. It's not when I want to start my day in the morning, be giving me a bowl of cereal. You want me to die in the afternoon? Anyways, ignore me. I'm just joking, right? Of course, people take bread and tea with egg, including me, but I make sure mine is filling. It's not that 3, I'll be 2 slices where they talk. Mine reach like I can 6 slices. But the point is, even our diet is changing, and how we eat, like how we eat now versus how we used to eat back then. It's changed greatly. And there are so many examples that I really cannot get into. Is it our architecture that we want to talk about? That one too is changing. Is it how, our family structure used to be in the past versus how it is right now? That one is changing. Is it about how, we've started moving from our communal cultural practice, right, to a more individualistic Western way of living? Is it that one I want to talk about? Because that one today, like, if we really want to get to the bottom of just how much our cultures have changed for the worse, so that's the sad part, for the worse, not for the better. No thanks to, these people coming down here and getting involved in, our business. Like, we go there yet say. I don't even know how cultural events are officiated. Like, yes, as a woman, like, I can't exactly officiate an event because, like, women don't really officiate events, right? But at least know the steps, right? So you can maybe teach your kids in the future if you have boys or whatnot. I don't know any of that ish. So guess what happens if someone like me now, where I am, right, with my knowledge about my culture and my language and whatnot, meets a man that is like me, and then we get married? That's it. We're going to be giving birth to a generation of people who would not know jack. And this is something that's happening on a large scale, and it's very scary and it's painful. As an African who's very much in love with culture, our cultures, and would really want them to stay alive and continue to thrive, this really breaks my heart. Like, it really makes me sad when I think about the fact that, like, in the next maybe 200, 300 years, like, it's going to be worse than how it is now, because there are a lot of people like me. A lot of people like me, and it's getting worse. So when I come by videos like this, I even come by sometimes, what do they call them, write-ups on Reddit of these people complaining. I'm like, I'm not sorry, I don't feel bad for you, because here I am, like, feeling bad for myself, and I have to think about the fact that it is the fault of your ancestors that things look like this, and now you are nagging that, people are coming over to your hell. Can we even talk about why these people from different cultures are coming over to your countries over there in the West? Like, can we talk about that? Like, it's still your fault. Or rather, the fault of your leaders and the fault of your ancestors that these people are coming in, because you guys have spent over 500 years destabilizing these people's countries during colonization, and no thanks now to neo-colonialism that is alive and thriving, right? People's countries are destabilized because you guys go and suck them dry to establish and build yourself. Now, these people are coming over because you have destabilized their homes, and you are complaining about that. And now you are also complaining about the fact that, okay, because they're coming, like, it's your fault they are coming over. If you want to blame somebody for whatever it is you are complaining about right now, it is you people's fault. It is your fault that these people are coming over with their cultures that now you think it's coming over to dilute your culture. It is your fault that they are coming over because you guys destabilize their homes. Like, can we talk about that? Are we ever going to get to the bottom of why they are coming over, though? Whose fault that is? And secondly, when they complain about these people coming over and how they are coming over with their cultures is diluting their own culture, they make it seem like these people are coming over with their cultures and forcing their cultures down their throats. Like, chill. Nobody is asking you to come and start wearing buba with wrapper and gele. Nobody is asking you to tie an ashoke. Nobody is asking you to start wearing an agbada. These people are just doing their ish and you feel uncomfortable. Like, give it a rest. These people be projecting so much. If you want them so badly to stop coming to your nations, maybe, just maybe, tell your government to leave their countries alone. Tell your government to remove their hands and their nose from their countries so their countries can actually thrive and they will stop coming over. That would solve your problem. But no, that's not something you want to do, right? Because you want to continue to benefit from the, the thievery, the diabolical things your leaders are doing down there, and at the same time still have the luxury of not having these people come over to get the stuff that you stole from them. You want to be able to eat your cake and have it. But I am so not sorry to break this news to them. The news that that's not how life works. And I think what is happening here is they are scared that the way they force people, the way they made other people's cultures get placed in the back burner, their cultures are going to get placed in the back burner as well. Even though these people have no interest in repeating or doing what they did to people, they are just scared. It's literally that saying of no sleep for the wicked. You understand? Like, you know what you did and you are scared that that issue is going to happen to you too. So now you can't sleep at night, basically. And lastly, if your culture is all that, why are you so scared? Like, why are you so scared? If your culture is all that, you should be able to stand the test of time. Hell, look at cultures that people try to eradicate. Because they were all that, right? Because they were really the ish, they were able to survive still, even though you people were like really hard on trying to get rid of these cultures, because these cultures were that rich, because these cultures were that, like, great, they were able to survive. But these people just be so scared because I don't think that they think that their culture can stand any hits. So they are worried that because maybe in their heads, their cultures are not that great, these other cultures can very easily overshadow theirs. And, that's what they're trying to make sure doesn't happen. But then again, maybe, just maybe, if you people had spent so much time focusing on your cultures and making it richer and grander and even more like spicy, maybe other cultures would not be able to just easily come in and without an effort overshadow yours. These people spend so much time trying to get rid of other people's cultures, and now see what's happening to theirs. Like, at the end of the day, these people can nag and nag and nag and nag and nag all day, every day, for as long as they want to. But the pointer is always going to come back to them. Whose fault is it? If we want to peel it all back, it's your fault. It's your people's fault. It's your ancestors' fault. So maybe go dig up, I don't know who you want to dig up right now. Elizabeth. Maybe go dig her up. Maybe go dig up Columbus. And while you are at it, don't forget to dig up Leopold II of Belgium, Lord Lugard, Victoria, all of them colonizers, them. Yeah, go dig them up, because they are the ones that can help you with this dilemma of yours. Maybe you should take your issues up with Pope Alexander VI, because truly, if we want to get to the bottom of it, right, he was the one who laid the foundation for what you are complaining about right now. Yeah, so go dig him up if you can find his grave where he was buried in. Go dig him up and take your issues up with him. I'm going to be ending this one here. Do let me know down below in the comment section what you think, and of course, as always, I would see you in the next one. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.